but they do look absolutely fantastic. I'm loving the beefy wheel arches and the rear spoiler. Yeah, I quite fancy having a go at one of them.
I can tell, yeah, they're proper little racing cars, aren't they? Marit Sandberg there, lining up at the back of the grid in his happy car. And it will slot into place in a moment, and then we should be good to go. So the front row slots into place. Niels Langeveld in exalted company in a sense, because he wasn't really one of the stars at Estoril for the opening round. Luclie Cypriano lining up on the back of the grid, penultimate qualifier. She's third in the championship, so with work to do here as the drivers now get themselves set. The lights will go to red, the lights will go out, then we will be racing, and the drivers will get that green flag at the back to show that everybody's where they need to be right now, because the formation lap is done. Drivers look towards the lights. Niels Langeveld then, the man on pole position, sees 5 lights go on, go out, he blasts away. Good start also made by Mikel Azcona from the front of the grid, and a very, very rapid start by Paul Rossell, having qualified badly in the black and pink and white car as they dive down towards Copse Corner for the first time. Paul Rossell's up into 3rd place already. There's a bit of leaning going on mid-pack as they work their way round Copse for the first time. Heading up now towards Maggots, then the dauntingly fast Beckett's S's. But a good start from Niels Langeveld then. The pole position man looks as though he's been able to make good his escape. Has he? No, not quite. It's Mikel Azcona who has found a way past him. So Azcona leads the way, working their way through Beckett's for the first time. And now they hit the hanger straight.
Yeah, Niels, our pole man in car number 10, he'd got loads of wheel spin. He got a really good start initially, but then just got too much wheel spin as we've got plenty of moves going back further down the field for 4th and 5th.
Yeah, Paul Rossell was trying to attack Alex Morgan, and up the inside goes Stian Paulsen, 3 abreast into Stoke Corner. Tremendous stuff. Stian Paulsen, the Norwegian driver, on the inside line. He's got himself up past Paul Rossell. He's on the outside line now as they hit the end of Vale to try to go right round the outside there of Alex Morgan. Outside for the end of the Vale, inside for the approach to Club. They almost lean on each other. Stian Paulsen stands his ground. Fantastic this. Gets up the curve going through Club. That forces Morgan out wide as they head past the wing. That is the battle going on for 4th place, and Stian Paulsen is now on the inside line going up towards Abbey, and he's made it stick. That was brave, brave stuff. Morgan gets fired out wide all over the bypass there, the little runoff area on the outside, and he's followed by others as well. But that was great racing.
That was real wheel to, excuse the expression, wheel to wheel racing, because it was any one of those 2 moves that were done there through those corners could easily have gone wide. There's another overtake's being done. They're giving each other a lot of respect. There's no barging or banging, so maybe the clerk of the course has had words with them. Okay, now I've said that, you watch. Now I've said that, you watch.
Taxi for Butler Henderson. Yeah. He's also race 1 of 2. There might be an element of self-preservation in all of this.
Yes, good point.
So they've got to get through this into tomorrow's race. Down they come then to the end of lap 1 of 11. Number 2 turns through there, which is Jimmy Antunes, and somebody's off the road. Was that Antunes getting it all wrong?
There wasn't contact. He just looked like he drove off on his own.
Right. So either out braking himself, it doesn't look like a tyre has gone down, but that was a rather strange moment. Is he carrying on or heading for the pit lane? He's heading for the pit as though he has a puncture or there was a breakage.
Yeah, something didn't look quite right. The fact that he just went straight on, and now to be coming in the pits, it's either he's coming in to save any more embarrassment, or there was a problem.
Yeah, or change his underwear. So Jimmy Antunes pits at the end of that one. Mikel Azcona led by 0.3 of a second. From in 2nd place then now, number 10 Niels Langeveld, 3rd is Lorenzo Barra de Vega, 4th is Stian Paulsen, and then 5th and 6th over the timing line, Alex Morgan ahead of Paul Rossell, Lucas Orrick down in 7th, and there is Jimmy Antunes, who has pitted, and he's had enough for the day, clambers out of the car, but for reasons as yet unknown. Now, in 2nd place, Niels Langeveld, the pole man, there he is, look, is really chasing Mikel Azcona because he's done the best of anybody in the first sector of the lap. He's brought the gap right down. Now, Charlie, it's game on for the lead.
Yeah, game on for the lead. So we're going to see these 2 battle it out for the next couple of laps, I would have said, and can our pole man with the red strips on the car and the white stripe that we're featuring now, can he pull away, because his lap time is looking very, very strong indeed. He's a good 4/10 quicker than anybody else.
And if these 2 hold each other up by squabbling, that's going to bring Lorenzo Barra de Vega back into the mix as well.
Which it looks like it's already doing, really, to be honest with you. So making his car extremely wide. You see the rear wheel, just as the suspension flexes as it goes into the sharp right-hander and coming into the loop, you can see the wheel get picked up in the air, and as they're on the brakes, the wheel stops moving, and as then the wheel then regains traction back onto the tarmac again. Got a bit of contact there. I'm really impressed with their racing, actually. This is very impressive, clean driving.
cursed it now. That was Lucas Orrock, the Brit, fending off Julien Brichet as they head down towards Brooklands.
I'm saying it on purpose, David, to make it more exciting for you.
I'm sure it's a grand plan. They're not quite responding to you, though, just yet. They're giving us good racing, you're absolutely right, but thankfully it's not too physical. Yes, it is, because there's the first proper tap. Get some of that, Lucas Orrock, so that gives him a little bit of a nudge, and he loses 2 places as up and past him goes Brichet, and I think also Lucile Cypriano has bought into that. The leaders go by, so at the moment Mikel Azcona leads the way from Niels Langeveld, and then the next gaggle of cars comes through. Lorenzo Vera de Vega is third, 4th is Stian Paulsen, 5th is Alex Morgan, there, 6th there is Paul Rossell, 7th is Julien Brichet, in 8th place now is Lucile Cypriano, so Lucas Orrock down into 9th place as the 2 race leaders run absolutely nose to tail, and you've got to be brave to go flat through Beckett's, haven't you?
Yeah, you've got to be very, very brave indeed. So lots of curb hopping, lots of curb being taken by all of the drivers throughout the field, but these 2, yeah, they really are stuck together, aren't they? But he's, you know, P2 man, car number 10, our pole setter, Nils, is looking pretty impressive, and he's done the move now on the inside of Stowe. Can he do it? Oh, he's got a lock up. They're both locked up momentarily.
But Langeveld has done it, he's gone through, so change for the race lead. Niels Langeveld goes through, but straight back at him comes Mikel Azcona in the black and white car on the outside at the end of Vale. Can't do it, slots back in behind. And actually, despite the fact these 2 are busy battling, Lorenzo Vera de Vega has not really got onto terms with them. He's a little bit modest in that 3rd place. He's managed to shake off everybody else, but he hasn't been able to rejoin, if you like, that leading duo. Up past the wing they come. Instead of going left these days at Abbey, you turn right, flick left through Farm, and then it's up towards Village. Niels Langeveld then leading the way. Can he pull clear of Mikel Azcona now?
Yes, I would have thought so. His lap time looking very, very quick. He's doing some very quick sectors as well, and you know, he was just sort of biding his time, I think, really. Now he's done the pounce, as it were. He's now going to pull away. These cars look like they're running incredibly soft, as we got a little bit of, again, a tiny bit of contact could have been made there, as a bit of a late out-braking lunge was done into the loop corner as they enter Aintree. God, they're using all the road. Absolutely. And some, aren't they? Yeah,
that was Julien Brichet getting up over the curb, and he's being investigated for his incident with Lucas Orrock a lap ago. So he's drawing attention to himself here. Is Julien Brichet, elbows out, down to the end of Wellington Straight they come. Lucile Cypriano in the all-white car there, slots in behind. So losing out big time is Paul Rossell, double champion. He's having a really undercooked weekend thus far at Silverstone. The race leaders in the meantime go through, with now Niels Langeveld ahead of Mikel Azcona, and the gap's half a second betwixt the 2. Then for 3rd is Lorenzo Vera de Vega. Is he being caught? No, not yet. Stian Paulsen is 4th, Alex Morgan is 5th, and then 6th now Brichet, 7th is Cipriano, 8th is Paul Rossell, who made a demon start, but he's tumbling away now. In 9th place it is Lucas Orrock, 10th is Facundo de la Mota, 11th is Marit Sandberg, and there he is. And Jimmy Antunes we lost a lap ago. Yes. So the race leaders working their way up through Beckett's there, nose to tail, Brichet versus Cipriano. Good little fight, this.
Yeah, and the cars seem, there's a lot of sort of suspension hopping, as it were, as they're picking up that inside rear wheel as they go around most corners. So it looks like they're running the cars incredibly soft, because there's a lot of movement. We get some other shots are going through the complex throughout this race. You really can see the cars hopping and really pretty much leaning on the suspension. And God, they've paid for the track, and they're using it and a little bit more. Definitely been watching the BTCC, I would have thought, and copied some of our driving standards over here in the UK.
Quite like this battle because it's between 2 teammates. Julien Brichet is the man behind JSB Competition, and it's his team that prepares the 2 cars, the 2 white cars, his and Lucile Cipriano's, neither of which really qualified that well. Julien Brichet was on the 5th row, Lucile Cipriano was 1 spot behind him on the 6th. They work their way up now through Abbey out of Farm. There is Mikel Azcona now for the championship, and I know it's early days, but it's important that he stays ahead of Stian Paulsen. He's 2nd, and Stian Paulsen is in 4th spot. Niels Langeveld, the race leader now, trying to get away from the rest. We're on lap number 4 out of 11.
From a driver's point of view, when we got a really good close-up there, so that was great stuff from our camera crew there, picking up that rear wheel that picks up in the air. You can actually really feel that when you're in the race car. You can feel the car flexing underneath you, and then when the wheel actually lands again, sometimes you can really feel it from the driver's seat, and you sort of, you know, because obviously it's stationary, you're now moving, it's got to pick up speed very quickly, so you sensitively feel it on some occasions at different corners. Kicking up the dust on the inside of Luffield, so interesting line there. Luffield can be taken in so many different ways.
Yes.
You know, over the years of your commentating, you've seen various different moves and lunges and incidents that happen there, I'm sure.
And some work and some don't.
Cleland and Soper, I think, comes to mind.
Well, yeah, that was going up to Luffield, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It all started a few corners back.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was Herbert's Trench on the outside of Luffield for a few years, where he ran wider and wider over the course of the Grand Prix weekend. But the Beckett's S's, fabulous part of the circuit, is where you see with the green wing mirrors then now Julien Brichet hanging onto the place ahead of Mikel Cypriano. This is for 6th. They work their way onto the 5th of the 11 laps of the race. It is Niels Langeveld heading for a debut win, seemingly a maiden win, because he's 7/10 up on Mikel Azcona. It's not a massive gap, but he's getting away. He's just creeping out up front. Lorenzo Barra de Vega runs 3rd, rather in no man's land, because he's not being caught by Paulsen, nor is he catching anybody else up the road.
He'll still be trying. He'll still be trying to push on and trying to get the best possible lap times, because I'm assuming they get points as well for fastest lap in the race as well. So it gives the championship even more to fight for. So you can push all the time. But he might also, in the back of his mind, be thinking, right, I've got a nice little cushion here. I've got a good gap to in front of me and behind. I'm just going to go for points and get on the podium, really. So that's what he also could be thinking.
All of these cars, 2-litre turbo engines, they've got the 6-speed DSG gearbox, and you can hear, can't you, what a quick gear change it is.
Yeah, very, very quick gear change. Volkswagen, and then obviously these are SEATs, which is part of the Volkswagen group, as we're looking at a slow-mo and a replay of the Auric incident that's still under investigation. So yeah, that was a very late lunge. It was a blatant tap, and poor old our UK contingent out there, Auric, got pushed back. So yes, I think that will probably be points on a licence. So yeah, well, it's still under investigation, so we'll have to wait and see on that, see what the clerk of the courses and the stewards think.
Indeed so, but they've had another look and can start to form an opinion as the race leader comes through. Niels Langeveld is getting away up the road, isn't he? There in 2nd place is Mikel Azcona, who comes through now. Dropping away behind him is the gap over a second. Yeah, it is. It's a 1.5 seconds, in fact. In 3rd place, Lorenzo Barra de Vega is now being caught by Stian Paulsen. It's game on for 3rd place. There they are, Portugal versus Norway. It's like Eurovision, isn't it, as they work their way through Copse Corner. So Stian Paulsen getting onto the back of the Portuguese driver as they head up towards Beckett's. Out of Maggots they will go, but Stian Paulsen chipping his way through to the front, having only qualified 8th. It's a really topsy-turvy grid. And the nice thing about this championship is that for the 2nd race, it's the same grid, except you reverse the top 10 out of qualifying, and that's why they give you points in the qualifying session. So it's another tweak on how to jumble up the order for race 2. But now nose to tail, heading to the end of Hanger Straight. Lorenzo Barra de Vega will defend the inside line as best he can. Can Stian Paulsen sell him a dummy? He moves to the inside line, elbows out, brakes as late as he dares. Job done. Stian Paulsen goes through on the inside. Can De Vega get the switch back? He uses the curb. He'll come up alongside, so he'll have the outside line down Vale. No, he won't. He hasn't got the grunt. He slots back in. Then he has another go on the outside. Outside for that is the inside for Club, but he can't even stay alongside. And as they work their way into Club, the team manager of Julien Brichet's car is being summoned to the stewards immediately. Another one under investigation is Alex Morgan and Stian Paulsen. So that's under investigation, but Julien Brichet's team boss is heading for the stewards, and I fear he's going to come away with a rather miserable expression on his face.
Yes, yeah, definitely. That's yeah, things will be done about that. So you got that rear wheel, you know, the 3 wheels around the tight complex at Silverstone. There you go, another shot there. So you can see he's just trail braking. He's come off the brakes, hence the wheel started turning again. So lots of little tweaks that need to be done on these cars to get them to go around the circuits quickly, and different drivers have different setups as well. So
one of the nice things about this is that they go to a venue perhaps only once a year, or sometimes they might miss a year and have to go back. So the teams aren't armed with lots of data. It's not like they spend every other weekend racing around here and know exactly how to put the cars to run on rails. They're still learning, still developing as the whole weekend unfolds.
Yeah, which is, again, another good reason to join the championship, really. It's a shame that there's only 12 in it, but everyone that's watching it at home and here spectating, it'd be nice to get a few more cars on the grid. I'm sure SEAT would really appreciate that.
because, as I say, these cars are kind of interchangeable. You don't have to do much now to make them into a TCR car. One or two people, like Paul Rossell, trying to do both. So the lead gap, 1.8 seconds now, just to recap. You've got Niels Langeveld ahead of Mikel Azcona. Third is Stian Paulsen, then ahead of Lorenzo Berra de Vega. But Paulsen's got this Damocletian investigation now for a nudge with Alex Morgan. There is Morgan, who's got Julien Brichet up behind him in the green mirrored car. Now Brichet is already having his team manager visit the stewards on one charge. Let's hope he doesn't get too gung-ho with this battle either. We're on lap number 7. Cars working their way at the moment, then down now towards the right-hand Stowe corner, where Alex Morgan is able to defend, and Julien Brichet will try and dive at the inside coming out of the corner. Takes the dust, takes the curb, can't do it though, can he? So for the moment, Alex Morgan staves him off as they make the run now down towards the end of Vale. To the outside line goes Brichet, now Lucille Cipriano joins back in as well. But for the moment, the Welshman Alex Morgan is fending them off.
Yeah, he's making that bright yellow striped car very, very wide indeed, and he's driving very well, but they're going to trip over themselves in a minute, and the other car that's just joined the battle is now going to be waiting and watching, ready to pounce.
That's Lucille Cipriano, graduate of the Sirocco Cup via TCR into SEAT. There is the battle for 5th place, 5th, 6th, 7th. Morgan ahead of Brichet, and then Lucille Cipriano at the back of the gaggle. They're in shot now, the second of the 2 white cars, run by Julien Brichet's team. So for the 7th time, they work their way through the loop, out of Aintree, and now on to Wellington Straight, heading down towards the left-hander of Brooklands. And this has become the closest fight, really, hasn't it now? These 3 as one. Morgan has to defend. To the outside line goes Brichet, but that's not going to pay off for him, is it?
Well, he's actually pushed Morgan now to go to a much tighter line, and now you're not going to do it around the outside. He's going to be on the outside of Copse, and it is the longer way round. So there you go. So he's just squeezed him out a little bit. Yeah, something is definitely going to give between these 3 in the remaining 3-4 laps.
Yeah, they're on lap 8 of 11 as they go down towards Copse. Brichet pulls out, has a look, pulls back in again. Working their way now through Copse. Number 1, Mikel Azcona in 2nd place. He's being given the track limits driver standards flag. So they work their way out of Copse. They head now up towards the Maggots left-hander. And this time around, Morgan is just benefiting a little bit from Cipriano arriving on the back look of the other white car of team boss Brichet. But only for a corner, because look at the final element of the Beckett's S's. They've all concertinaed back up again.
Yeah, they've all exactly that. This is good racing between these 3. Morgan, very, very good job there. He's moving across, trying to break the toe. He doesn't want the other cars to get pulled along or dragged along from his aerodynamicness of the car. And we've got to move, on the inside of Stowe.
Cipriano gets up past Brichet. Customer gets ahead of team boss. That's fine. I think that's just about acceptable. So Lucille goes through. 3rd in the championship, so she needs the points out of all of this. They get to the end of Vale, lap 8 of 11. So that is the change for 6th and 7th places. Now, how much are tyres starting to be a factor now? 1 or 2 of them have had to push quite hard in this race.
Yes, tyres will definitely be. We've got a replay now of
that's the
incident again.
Yeah,
it's half-hearted, so he wasn't actually fully, in theory, beside Oric, and just sort of tagged him on the way in, really. It's a very common place for that to happen at the Brooklands corner there. But tyres, going back to the tyres, yes, they will be struggling quite a lot now with grip. You can see the cars are set up quite soft, and they're picking up that wheel that we've featured a couple of times as well. And a lot of movement in the suspension, car in the distance there, going very wide. They've got to watch out that they don't get a warning flag, which is given to people for using too much road. Basically, you've got to have only 2 wheels can be off the track at any one time. If it's all 4 wheels off the track, the marshals have got little notepads, they've got radios, they talk to the clerk of the course, and we, I think, drop them in it now and again as well, don't we, by mentioning it on the TV.
It's made to happen, that's for sure. Niels Langeveld, though, who's keeping out of trouble. He's the leader. Mikel Azcona there, 2nd. He has had a warning for running too wide as we start now lap number 9 of the 11. And there's another one, which is Lorenzo Berra de Vega, being told he's got to respect the track limits at Copse Corner, or Turn 1 as it's known in modern money.
Yes.
It still seems strange referring to corners at Silverstone by numbers rather than names. But, of course, it's an increasing element of new circuits that they don't have names, it's just numbers for corners.
I'm still a names man.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I remember racing Vauxhall Junior years ago, and I was talking to John Village, my old team boss, And I said, oh, at the third corner, it's doing this. And he goes, get out of the car, learn the names of the corners, and then he knows what corner I was talking about. So from then on, at 16 years old, I've religiously learned every single corner, and I think everyone should really.
So they're turning now through
Stoke,
and then heading down
Vale
towards
Club.
Excellent.
Yes.
And so this is on lap 9. There is Alex Morgan.
Test pass.
With flying colours.
Thank you.
Alex Morgan knows exactly where he is on the road as well, and he knows he's under attack here. Lucile Cypriano. Interesting this, isn't it? That's a car that's kind of got better and better and better as the race has worn on.
Yes, but a little bit too late, really, to be honest with you. Look at that, car's completely off the track there, really. And that is a very popular corner to do that. You know, Club is a very quick corner. They won't really be gaining much of an advantage, but yeah, it's not really the track. If it was grass, you wouldn't be going on it.
No, that's right. And of course, it means you can keep up the momentum as well. You're not lifting particularly. There is Morgan at Village.
Who's broken away a little bit now,
hasn't he? Only about a length or two, but you're right, he has done it. So he's too far back, really, to think about challenging anybody else up the road, because over 2 seconds clear is Lorenzo Barra Vega, seeing that Stian Paulsen has found his way up into third place. Now, what about Paulsen against Azcona? No, too much real estate to make up there. So lap number 9, down they come, heading towards the left-hander at Brooklands. And now Julien Brichet, look, he's going to try and get on his toes and see what he can do about Lucile Cypriano again. Bearing in mind that's a customer just ahead, so he's going to make a move, is he? Thinks about the inside line. Gets a face full of SEAT boot. Can't do it there. Round, wheels lifting, Luffield they come. Up towards Woodcote Corner and then over the timing line, at the end of which 9 laps are in the book, and Niels Langeveld is leading by 2.1 seconds. He might not have made the best start, but he raced well to get back into the lead of the race, and since then has controlled it pretty much all the way.
Yeah, very, very dominant start, really, to be honest with you. Didn't get the best of starts, has got a very dominant pace once he'd overtaken and taken the lead, really. And he's just pulled away, really. Very smooth.
Absolutely right. And it's going to be interesting to see on that reversal of the grid for tomorrow, when you've got Julien Brichet and effectively Facundo Della Motta as the front row, then how that's going to pan out. Brichet here, fading. Lucile Cypriano has gone ahead. The cars work their way once again towards Hanger Straight. With only really one more lap to go at the end of this. We're now on to lap number 10 of 11. And there's the race order on the screen. Langeveld from Azcona, Paulsen is third, Barra Vega fourth, Morgan, Cipriano, then Brichet there with the green mirrors ahead of Della Motta, Lucas Oruch ninth. And Paul Rossell down in 10th, and he's lost another place, in fact, because Lucas Oruch's just got up and passed him. So interesting the way that Paul Rossell has faded as this race has worn on. Former double champion, indeed reigning champion, and somebody who made a really good start. Lucile Cypriano way up onto 2 wheels there, though, as they work their way at the end of Vale. Crash lands back to earth. Julien Brichet not really close enough to take advantage of that, though.
The only thing I can think of is tyres. He's obviously gone on different tyre pressures, the temperature of the day, and the circuit's warming up as it goes on throughout the day, and just the tyres would have gone off. Once they start to go off, they become quite slippery, and then you can't basically put the power down and get the lap times that you expected to get at the beginning of the race.
Now, Lorenzo Barra Vega in 4th place was warned early on about exceeding the track limits at Cops, brackets turn 1. He's now under investigation from the stewards, so rather than just being warned, now they're having a look at it. So I think he's transgressed more than is acceptable. Yeah, and then if he does get excluded or given a 10-second penalty, or whatever they decide to do, if anything, that will only help Morgan, which we've been featuring quite a lot in this race, with the luminous yellow strips on the car, because I think he's driven a good race to protect those places, because they were literally falling over themselves a lot earlier on. But interesting how many of the gaps were sort of opened up on the first lap or two, and after that, perhaps inevitably in a one-mate race, it's very, very hard to bring them back again, isn't it? If you've lost ground early on, it's very, very hard to gain the places back. There is Lucile Cypriano, that car with witness marks to an earlier skirmish or two. And Paul Rossell, I'm still sure, has got a problem, because Marit Sandberg, who has been way off the pace really thus far, has caught up to the former champion. So dramas, I fear, for Paul Rossell. We're on the last lap though, and Niels Langeveld is heading for a first win.
He'll be delighted with that first win. You know, it's an emotional time. You know, I'd still get emotional from racing in the minis at the moment. You know, when you win or come on the podium, it still is a pretty special moment for any driver, knowing how much effort and time that they put into getting onto the race circuit, the team, and it's just a really good reward for the team and you as a driver as well. It's great. Look at that bouncing and hopping over the curb at Club Corner there. Does he run wide on the exit? No, nice, neat and tidy. When you're leading a race like that, the last thing you want to do is gain attention from any of the stewards by just uncontrollably going wide on the exit of the corners there. And you can see cars hopping. They sound absolutely fantastic as they thunder past, and we can hear them on the microphones from our cameras as well. They do sound pretty cool.
Like we said pre-race, they're proper little racing cars these. There's Alex Morgan on the back of Lorenzo Barra de Vega, so we could have a change for 4th place yet. Up front, Niels Langeveld then leads the way, the reigning Benelux Clio champion, moving to SEAT this year, and 4th in the championship. Barra de Vega is being caught by Morgan, and he's being caught by Cypriano and Brichet. So there's a right little battle pack, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, all building up then, as Niels Langeveld turns his way into Brooklands for the last time. Mikel Azcona set for 2nd place. Gap back, Stian Paulsen 3rd. And again, he's somebody that's made progress, having started 8th on the grid. But the race leaders work their way into Luffield for the last time. Barra de Vega under attack, but let's talk about this man who has dominated the bulk of the race in order to secure a first win this year. Niels Langeveld comes over the timing line in the Bapora Motorsport car to win from Mikel Azcona. The gap at the flag just under 3 seconds. Stian Paulsen's going to come through for 3rd place now, and then 4th and 5th nose to tail. Lorenzo Barra de Vega just ahead of Alex Morgan as they break the timing beam. It will be the Portuguese driver who takes 4th on the road, but is under investigation for track limits. 5th Alex Morgan, then 6th Lucile Cypriano, 7th Julien Brichet, 8th will be Facundo de la Mota, 9th should be Lucas Oruch, and we have had a change on the last lap for 10th place because Maurits Sandberg has got ahead of Paul Rossell, and so the reigning champion has had a pretty torrid time because that car has just dropped like a stone. I
think you're right. He would have. It sounds like it was probably more than just tyre pressures that were wrong, because he's really dropped back quite dramatically.
So Paul Rossell then ends up in fact 10th place, because has Lucas Oruch gone through? No. Lucas Oruch on the last lap is limping into the pit lane now, so he'll take the checkered flag in the pits. But Lucas Oruch's car also had dramas towards the end. It had a biff early on, so if it was a legacy of that, there it is, look down the pit lane. If it was a legacy of the contact earlier, it took a long time to manifest itself. So Lucas Oruch, big disappointment, because he's a talented driver. Keep going, say the marshals, and he's just broken the timing beam, but he's in the pit lane. But he has now officially finished the race, but there's nothing obvious on that car as to why it would go so slowly at the end.
No, very puzzling.
Confirmation of the way they came across the line. Niels Langeveld, the race winner from Mikel Azcona. Stian Paulsen 3rd. Lorenzo Barra de Vega 4th. Alex Morgan taking 5th position ahead of Lucile Cypriano. Julien Brichet 7th from Facundo de la Mota. Maurits Sandberg 9th. Paul Rossell 10th. The troubled Lucas Oruch limps home for 11th. Jimmy Antunes we lost on lap 2 with problems. So a very frustrating race for at least 3 drivers you can point to there, but Niels Langeveld was well chuffed because, as we said in commentary, Charlie, it wasn't the best start, but he got his head together and regrouped and knew what he had to do, took the lead, and then just steadily built a gap.
Yeah, he reacted well to the lights, then got loads of wheel spin, dropped to 2nd place, excuse me, dropped to 2nd place, and then just pulled away and did some stonking lap times in just when he needed to, and just gave himself a little bit of a buffer. And as you correctly said, David, one-weight championships like this, you just have to break away from the pack and just get your head down and just not make any mistakes, because everyone's machinery is all identical.
And if you can make the break, then you're in the pound seats, aren't you? Because they're going to struggle to claw back that time.
Yeah.
And as ever, when it comes to Silverstone, the SEAT Leon Eurocup has delivered a very interesting race. One more to come tomorrow as well here from Silverstone. So the cars in a moment will make their way down the pit road, and then we'll get the drivers up towards the podium. Niels Langeveld for Baporo, Mikel Azcona for PCR Sport, and Stian Paulsen in the Stian Paulsen Racing car. So it's very much done to a budget for Stian Paulsen. So the scrutineers, the race officials, are ready at the bottom of race control, where the winning cars will head into parc fermé conditions, so they can't be touched. They will be checked to make sure they comply with the regulations. Out gets Stian Paulsen. As he walks away, Niels Langeveld can be waved into his parking slot. And then you'll have Mikel Azcona as well. There he is. So the top 3 cars into place. Now you get a really close look at just how these SEAT Leons are built. As we've been saying, proper little touring cars with all the aero.
Even the wing mirrors look good.
Yeah,
they're
really
just
good cars, aren't they?
Yeah, they just look sharp, edgy, and purposeful, like a proper touring car should do, So yeah, impressed. And there's a bit of Yes, it seems like they haven't given each other much room in the collecting area, or because of the big wheel arches, there's not enough room for them in the collecting area or the Parc Ferme. He's well happy with that, yes.
Well, Niels Langeveld squeezes out of the car. And the team is very happy, so is he.
First race win. He won't forget that in a hurry.
No, indeed. Last year's Benelux Clio champion. Now moving into SEAT's first win. Is it my eyes, or is that crash helmet made to look like cheese with all the holes in it?
It looks that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does look that way, yeah. Or bubbles.
So Niels Langeveld with his Dutch cheese crash helmet to head to the podium.
So we talked about the hands device. That's what they have attached to their helmet. They've obviously got intercoms in these cars as well, so you see like a cable or a wire hanging out of the helmet. Kisses the car. Yes.
Yeah, you said he was going to be well happy. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
He is. Delighted with that. So Niels Langeveld, our race winner in the end by just a gnat under 3 seconds, having had to battle his way into the lead. Why he made a sluggish start, we'll have to find out in a moment, because that was about the only blot on the copybook during that. And we'll hear from Niels Langeveld, our winner now. Dakota is with him down in Parc Ferme.
Niels, what a fantastic race. Congratulations. Your first race and a win.
Yeah, exactly. We had difficulties for entering this series. My budget limited, and I managed to find the budget by only sponsors. So there's a lot of pressure on me, because I say yes, I'm fast, I can win, but then you have to do it, and that became difficult in the start in Estoril. And now here, the team did a fantastic job, and I felt very good. The car was very good. And then, yeah, of course, the race, the start was not so good. Azcona overtook me. But then they said to me, be calm. And I know I needed to be calm, because I have the fastest car and I was faster than him, so I could pressure him. And then there was a moment I was so close and he did not even defend, so I overtook him.
There you go. That shows your victory. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So Niels Langeveld with the story of the race, and well, let's hope that those budget problems that he alluded to aren't going to keep him out for the rest of the season, or at least don't affect his capability of competing the year, because that would be very, very disappointing. He came here fourth in the championship, and that's going to be a big boost. I know it's early days, only the second weekend of the championship, but you've got to think about this and keep out of trouble and score.
I like his confidence. I am the fastest driver. I have the fastest car, which he did, because when you qualify on pole, you know that you've got a quicker car than anyone else. You just got to do exactly the same thing that you did in qualifying. It's just a shame he got too much wheel spin at the start, and he actually had to do a bit of hard work to overtake. But yes, as I was saying, you know, they take a lot of time, hard work, and effort to get on the grid with finding sponsors. You know, it's like it is nearly a full-time job, constantly battling away. But it's well deserved now, you know. And I'm loving his confidence, and I love the Dutch accent as well. It's so cool. It is cool.
Well, we'll see for the rest of the championship year how he fares, but we'll see tomorrow just how quick he is, because you take that top 10 out of qualifying and reverse them, so he'll be 10th on the grid. And in a 12-car grid, that's pretty much last, humble maths aside, because he's on the penultimate row that way, so he's got a lot of work to do. In other words, he's got to get past the bulk of the field to get himself up near the front. So we'll see tomorrow just how quick Niels Langeveld really is. So there at the back of the podium, the drivers are getting themselves ready.
Having a drink of water, a well-earned drink of water. Remember at Brands Hatch last week, I got out of the car and nearly fainted. It was so hot. And you know, that bottle of water you get given by the organisers as soon as you get out of the car is very well needed.
Oh, I'm not surprised. Not surprised.
Obviously they work out, they're in the gym most of the days as well, most evenings after you've found all your sponsorship. But it's still pretty hard work in these cars.
Well, there's the man that finished third. Stian Paulsen heads out onto the podium for the third step. For second place, Mikel Azcona, a race winner already this year. There are the two that split the wins at Estoril, and our third different winner in 3 races is that man, Niels Langeveld, who brings the crash helmet of cheese out onto the podium, stands on the top step, and the Dutchman is victorious as the winner of the unofficial Coupe des Dames. Luclie Cypriano heads onto the podium as well. So for Niels Langebelt, the national anthem plays, and he stands as a happy man on the top step of the podium. The Yokohama hats go back on. Yokohama, the tyre supplier, of course, for the SEAT Leon Eurocup. And the SEAT's here as part of the £0 GT Series weekend. And the trophies, first of all, to Stian Paulsen, then to Mikel Azcona. And the way this works is that a representative of each team hands the trophy to its driver, which is a nice touch. Luclie Cypriano, as the winner of the Ladies Award, will receive a trophy from the Julien Brichet team. And then Vapouro, which runs Niels Langebelt's car, will be on hand to provide the trophy to the race winner. And on the top step, Niels Langebelt is a happy man, punches the air with delight, and as all of his vanquished rivals are congratulated, there is a winner's trophy for Niels Langebelt, who is a very happy man indeed.
Very rare to have a race helmet on the podium. I don't think I've really...
These days, yes.
Fair play to him, though, because he's obviously getting extra coverage for his sponsors.
Mobile phone out of pocket.
Yeah.
So in a moment, once the official photographer has done his bit, then there'll be a selfie, I think, to have on the podium as well, won't there?
Definitely. A very driven person there, as in on the top stop there. Very passionate, works hard.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go, selfie.
First of all, going to text somebody, he thinks. Let them know I won.
What an interesting character. Don't you shout, your phone's going to get soaked in sticky, horrible champagne. No, I wouldn't leave it there either.
And he gets soaked. And so Niels Langebelt eventually joins in. Drenches Mikel Azcona. So the top three, the three drivers that have split the wins between them this year in the SEAT Leon Eurocup, it suggests that it's going to be a very competitive year. I think the most important thing out of that has been the mobile phone, hasn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Never mind anything else. Trophy, possibly champagne. Yeah, right. Crash helmet, yes. That's good. Trophy? Niels, you remember that? Yep, well done. Yep.
What an absolute nutter. I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. What an interesting character.
That's the phrase.
He's definitely one to watch out for in the future, isn't he? Definitely.
Very
Very
all
talented.
Dutch racing drivers seem to be characters, and let's have a look back at how he did it. Niels Langebelt, the man that started on pole position and scored victory in this third round of the SEAT Leon Eurocup. It was thumbs up before the race started. He was in confident mood then, but as the lights went out, in came the wheel spin, and he bogged down just a little bit, and that allowed Mikel Azcona to get the drop on him on the run down towards Copse, even though it was a staggered grid. Paul Rossel was away quickly as well, but Azcona up the inside took the advantage. 3 wide for 6 as they worked their way around Copse, and then the run up towards Maggots and Beckett's for the first time. Great battles raging on between them as they work their way up for the first time of asking through the Beckett's S's, and with everybody having the same base machinery, it was down to driver ability, and Alex Morgan was soon under attack as behind him Paul Rossel was under attack as well. Up the inside of him came a hard charging Stian Paulsen through Stowe Corner, 3 wide, and then they worked their way down to the end of Vale where Morgan and Paulsen ran together. Over the curb went Stian Paulsen. There was a little bit of leaning. The stewards had a look at it, but no action was taken during the race. Morgan had his nose in front as they ran through Club Corner. He ran wide, so did Paul Rossel behind him, and then the cars accelerated their way over the curbs at the end of the lap where there was contact between Brichet and Auroch. Niels Langebelt, though, made the move for race honours, diving up the inside, heading into Stowe Corner. He put a move on Mikel Azcona, and having done so, was then able to gap the opposition. Julien Brichet was having a good little fight with teammate Luclie Cypriano. They got themselves close in the end to the back of Alex Morgan's car and carried on squabbling. Lorenzo Barro de Vega fell away from the leaders, and he ended up in the clutches of Stian Paulsen, and it wasn't long before the Norwegian driver thought about pulling a move. Nose to tail they ran on the way down towards Stowe. Paulsen moved up to the inside line, made a move, made it stick. De Vega fought back at the end of Vale, but he still couldn't do it. And now Stian Paulsen secured the 3rd spot, made his way up towards the podium. A race winner already this year, and the Norwegian driver having come here as the championship leader, eager to bank points. As Julien Brichet then set about trying to find a way past Alex Morgan, Luclie Cypriano tucked up behind as the field worked its way through 11 laps around the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit. Brichet had a go on the outside line to get past Morgan. That didn't work, but it did give Luclie Cypriano a chance to challenge as they battle their way up towards the timing line. Eventually, Cypriano found a way past Brichet. used the curb, got up onto two wheels at the end of Vale, and they continued their squabble up towards the checkered flag. Alex Morgan was able to hang on, though, to the place, and up front it was Niels Langeveld who was able to secure the race win. The gap was building all the time. In the end, he was nearly 3 seconds clear of the opposition by flag 4. Behind him, they still battled. Lorenzo Beira de Vega fell away back into the clutches of a charging Alex Morgan. They worked their way up towards the loop and then through Aintree, where behind Cypriano and Brichet were catching up as well. But up front, there was just no stopping Niels Langeveld. Mikel Azcona had to settle for second place as they worked their way towards the timing line. It was a win, his first in a SEAT for Niels Langeveld, last year's Benelux Clio Cup winner. Victorious ahead of a charging Mikel Azcona in second spot. And then in third, some way back, Stian Paulsen. So 3 races and 3 different winners, suggesting it's going to be a very competitive year in the SEAT Leon Eurocup. And as he squeezed himself out of what he claims is the quickest car here, Niels Langeveld was a very happy man indeed. There isn't a huge budget for this year's championship campaign, but let's hope that a few more sponsors come on board. It would be a great shame if that pace went unrewarded for the rest of the year. Langeveld, a very happy man indeed, with a race victory here at Silverstone. There's more to come from the SEAT Leon Eurocup tomorrow morning. And Niels Langeveld do the double. He'll start 10th on the grid tomorrow. Join us and find out. For now, from a sunny Silverstone, from Charlie Butler-Henderson and David Addison, thanks for your company. It's bye-bye for now.